Yeah, so I'm Austin Summers. I'm a professional dating coach. I've been in this space since 2014, but I started game in 2012. Actually, I did my first approach in 2013, so it's been like almost 10 years of, yeah, it's crazy, like a decade of going out. So, yeah, and I just teach guys. I do in-person immersion programs. I do online mentorships, and I put out YouTube videos. Some of my videos, I go meet porn stars. Some of them, I just like meet regular girls on the street. So I kind of have a lot of varied content, and then a lot of philosophy stuff and just basic tips and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I talked a lot about your work because my buddy, we were at the club in Miami. I was visiting my Miami. My buddy's name is Pavlo. I was staying at his place. We went to a few clubs, picking up some chicks, and he kept bringing up the word polnation, polnation, polnation. I was like, "What the fuck does that mean, bro?" He's like, "Bro, watch Austen Summers." So after I came back from Miami back to California, I started watching a bunch of your videos. I remember seeing your videos when I was younger, probably when I was around like 15, 16 as well. And
Wow.
yeah, dude, I remember seeing your videos go viral on YouTube. And then I started watching more of your work, and you talked a lot about self amusement and self entertainment and being playful, which I always talk about as well in my podcast. And so my mentors as well, like Corey Wayne, I don't know if you know who he is. He talks a lot about being playful, and that's something a lot of red pill dudes or a lot of dudes in the manosphere today are just they're just super serious all the time. So I really like how you bring in the being playful and things like that for sure.
Yeah, well, to be honest, that's like one of the traits of that's good in game, right? So
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's my fault because I haven't didn't upload as much as I should have. Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of different qualities that women look for. It's not just a man who's able to express himself, because being able to express yourself means that you are people don't tell you to shut the fuck up. Basically, it denotes high status if you're able to express yourself in the ways that you want to. Women look at you as a high status person because a lot of people are stifled. Most men are stifled. They're trapped in their head and they're not able to express themselves. And that is usually as a result of being always having a superior above you telling you what to do. But yeah, being a free individual is like a really attractive thing, and it shows that you're like a mouse. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I remember watching your first video on YouTube, and it was just you jumping into this fucking frozen ass fucking in the cold ass water, and you were just having fun. And that's the one thing I really like teaching guys as well is, just be yourself, have fun, stop caring. It shows women that you don't give a fuck, and yeah, you're gonna stand out compared to most guys who are fearful of, you know, looking stupid or looking dumb, whatever. So.
Yep.
And then so what was your first video on YouTube? When did you first start on YouTube? Was that your first or?
Oh, so yeah, I was part of a channel called Honest Signals back in the day, and it was like me and my old mentor Vadim. So I actually started helping him in 2014, I believe. Is that the year? Yeah, 2014. Wow. And yeah, one of the things that actually got me that position was, first of all, when I found him, I was like, dude, this guy is the best game I've ever seen. There wasn't really much infield on YouTube that was good.
Right.
Most of it was like simple pickup back when I was, people don't even know that name anymore, which is
I
funny
I used to
because
watch it. I used to watch it.
they had like 4 million subscribers. Then
It
they
disappeared.
just disappeared and did different business stuff, and they had a falling out and whatever. And now no one knows about them. But yeah, they gave huge exposure to game and pickup, so it's kind of cool. But they're none of them had really particularly good game. So I found Vadim, and I was like, damn, this guy has really cool style and like great verbals and like strong masculine frame. And I was like, damn. So anyway, I met him in real life, and I volunteered to help him out. And the thing that clutched me that job was I paid a ticket to go film him at Ultra Music Festival because he was looking for a camera guy for that.
Yep.
And I paid for my own ticket, went there, and filmed the whole day. And then they pulled. And as I'm like filming, I noticed there's like 1% battery left. And and I'm like, fuck, I have to like manage this well to get the whole poll. So I have like shot of them walking to the car and then like turn off the camera and then like turn it back on, start recording, and like them driving away. And like just as I got the shot of them driving away, like the camera dies, and I was like, yes, like I just got like
Fuck yeah.
and he saw that footage. He was like, fuck, dude, all right, you have to come with me to Canada. And then I went with him to Canada, and yeah, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't know how much you want my backstory, but yeah, one of the
Yeah, bro.
things I did was I gamed on my own for a year, and the first 3 months. This is why I recommend. I don't know if you do any coaching, but I'd recommend your listeners take a program with you, because if they do, they're going to save a lot of time. My first 3 months, I didn't do a single approach. I just was like listening to theory and stuff. And then the guy who got me to do my first approach was actually Paul Jenka. I was listening to a video of his, and he's like, if you're listening to this program, you made it to this point and you haven't approached, you should probably just do it right now. So I just went outside in my college dorm and just went and did an approach. And it actually didn't go that poorly. And then the next second, third, fourth approaches were really bad, but I didn't understand about like how to approach technically, and just got to get it over with. And then from there, I dropped out of university. I was like, I don't think this is for me. It's basically I just saw it as people just being like programmed to do like
NPCs.
jobs. Yeah, basically that. And I was like, I want to be rich and free, and I don't want to be. I didn't like what it was like. I didn't like the outcome that I saw from university for what it produced in society from people. And anyway, and I wanted a game, so I took some money I'd saved up. I ran like a painting business, and I took some money I saved up, and I just did a free solo backpacking trip to Europe, and new city every 1 to 2 weeks, and just met girls every single day. And you're constantly socializing. You're in different cities, you're in different countries, you're talking to different girls, and also just socializing with people at those hostels and stuff in Europe. I recommend everyone do a backpacking trip like that. And back in the day, there was couch surfing too. So I would stay with people for free, and you get to socialize with them as well. And one thing that I noticed, like some rich people are kind of like not nice, and they're actually kind of rude. It's because they have the money, so they don't have to do anything with their personality to get something. And I think one of the cool things about doing things that forces you to make your personality come out is that it does that, right? It exerts an effort, a force on yourself to make your personality come out. So when you do game, you have to use your personality and your masculinity, your leadership, your charisma to get a result. When you stay with people for free, you actually have to be nice and kind and thoughtful and bring out good vibes. And so it's kind of like that, bridging that gap is cool. And if you use your personality, you can actually supercharge personality, so you can get like sense of humor, and you can live a more interesting, cool life and meet more interesting, cool people, rather than just using money to get everything. But anyway, I want to.
No, it's good. But yeah, I remember we went to a car meet. Me and my best friend went to a car meet, and we saw some dude. He had an Audi R8, like super nice fucking car, all souped up, and he had some girl with him, and she was a total thought, using him for his money, total gold digger. And this guy, we were trying to talk to him, and because we want to learn about stocks, as that's how he made most of his money, and he was just a total simp for this one girl. I'm like, bro, she doesn't even like you. She's not even into you. Like, then he started watching some of my videos, and he started watching and following some of my work. And then he actually started to get better with women, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, I noticed that a lot of guys who have a lot of money, they could just get girls by flashing their cars and stuff, but it's nothing long term. The girl's not going to be happy. He's not going to be happy. So yeah, that's one thing I noticed as well.
Yeah, I guess one thing about that, so there are guys that they think that if they just hustle and work hard and just accumulate a lot of money, then they will have girls that are just getting wet over them.
Yeah.
But there's two different mating strategies that women have, right? There's a short-term mating strategy, and then there's a long-term mating strategy. So for long-term mating strategy, it's good to have stability, dependability, great financial prospects, and uh, ambitiousness is attractive as well. But
Yeah.
if you already have it, you don't really need much ambition past that point.
Yeah.
But so there's that aspect, and I have a lot of clients that they just thought that if they get a lot of money, then girls will just drop their panties and be flooding their basements over them. But that's not how it works. So, but the other thing is and that's why there's no women lining up at like crypto conventions to meet guys, and there's no women like masturbating to Warren Buffett. Um, Actually, a side note, one of the reasons why women find extremely older men less attractive is that they are likely to die and therefore not be able to provide resources for her and her offspring.
Right.
Right. But another interesting thing is men are seen as most attractive in their 30s, and that kind of like goes along with the Rollo Tomasi. 35 is like when men hit their peak SNV, provided they're working
Yep.
on themselves.
Yep.
Because men in their 30s are the best hunters. So men in their 20s are more athletic, but the decrease in athleticism you have in your 30s is not so negative. And then the like really important thing is that you have a high skill and wisdom about what you're doing. So
Right.
you see it too, like some of the best athletes in the world are in their 30s, right? They just have a lot of time put into this, and their body has only just started to decline. But anyway, that's like a psychological thing too. But anyway, the in terms of money, like the qualities that make you money oftentimes are the qualities that make you attractive in general. So
I agree.
uh, so for example, like learning, and this is why I talk to guys about, like, I think the best order to learn things is probably, man, there's some debate on this, but game first, then health, and then business. So if you have no reason to do anything, you're not going to do it. So just being like interested in health stuff for the sake of it, you're not going to be that motivated. But if you're like, I want to get in shape to fuck a girl, that motivates you. Or if you say like, I want to, uh, make money to fuck more girls, to like, have a lifestyle or be able to offer cool experiences. Or and a lot of times too, money helps more in the retention of girls because you can give them a cool lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, if I rant too long, let me know. I don't want to go on too long. I could literally, you could give me a topic, I'll just go on it for 3 hours.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, you're good at that shit. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, dude. So when did you first, like, were you always good with women, or did you have to? What was like a breaking point? Because usually a lot of guys, they experience a heartbreak. They find a mentor, and then they start learning from him. So how did it go for you?
Yeah, so I'd say I've always been I think everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses with girls, right? Some of my strengths are I'm pretty intelligent. I have a good sense of humor, and I like to learn about a lot of things, so I can relate to a lot of people. But I think my IQ is so high that it decreases my EQ. So they say any point of intelligence above 120 decreases your EQ, like your
Hmm.
emotional intelligence, basically.
Right.
So yeah, so I had that. Um, Growing up, I was kind of nervous around girls, but in middle school, I was actually somewhat popular until the point of high school. So if you're listening, you don't know what that is. It's basically like seventh through ninth grade, or sorry, sixth through eighth grade. Uh, I was actually kind of popular with girls in seventh grade. But then what happened is I had like extremely traumatic series of events. It was like my mom passed away when I was 12. My stepdad cut off contact with me. I left all of my friends, went down to my dad's house. My dad wasn't the the most supportive or caring parent. And I got pushed through a window, so I got like 150 stitches, 56 staples, almost died. Just like all this happened so quickly. And then, yeah, over the course of, I think the summer after 8th grade, it's just like all the depression just like spiraled out of control. So yeah, and there's the one thing that if anyone listening has dealt with uh, someone dying in their family, it was like there's like stages of bereavement, like stages that happen after someone that close to you dies. The first one is denial. So it's like you just don't even you just act like it didn't happen. So that was
Right.
literally for a year of my life. I was just like, yeah, everything's fine. Like nothing really happened. And I cried when my mom died. Like when I was with her and I saw her passing away, I was like obviously crying. But then
Yeah.
like the day after, it just felt like it felt like, okay, wake up, say hi to my mom. Oh, she's not here. It was weird. I was like in denial. And then the second stage, I think, is bargaining. Is it bargaining? I don't know. But one of the phases is depression. It's like you just get really sad.
Right.
So yeah, that happened. That lasted for like I think 3 years of high school or four. I don't know. Yeah, and I skipped school a lot. It's weird. I had the classes. I either got like A's or F's in my classes.
Yeah.
I went from like a straight A student to like A's and F's, which is weird. Um, and yeah, and that is the thing that made me bad with girls, just like intense trauma, and then a large period of time where I was just like completely in isolation and not talking to people, and yeah, like some days I would go to school, but like I didn't want to go to class because I was just so sad and depressed. So I'd literally just go sit in the bathroom and like just sleep in the bathroom. It was fucking yeah, it was really yeah, and then my diet was just horrible. Like everything was just it was just like a negative spiral.
Right.
And yeah. So that was very bad. But so I didn't really the time of my life where I should have been like connecting with girls and having my first experiences and stuff. I was just kind of like in a very bad place where
Right.
I went from people like liking being around me to like just being like a dark toxic person.
I see. Yeah.
But yeah, and then I worked my way out of that. So I did some self-development stuff for a while. And then I started learning game, and then like I don't even know when it was. Was it like maybe I don't remember actually how long it was from the time I have to get my story straight. I'm gonna make a video called it'll be called like because my course is called game transformation, so I want to
Right.
make a whole video of my game transformation. I have like photos and videos from the past where I was like, you know, not a person you would want to associate with to you know the whole progression of learning game, because a lot of people that like it's a epiphany for guys that they can learn this, right? So yeah, I think by showing my own transformation, which most people don't have footage or videos or pictures or a story of how they transformed, right? Or you just kind
Yeah.
of have to take it off of like faith. Oh, he got better. Okay.
Yeah. So
The man
that's
on
one
the
thing.
internet marketing something to me is telling me the truth versus if they can actually see the entire transformation. But yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing is for sure is I like how you didn't go straight into trying to learn about girls from like a heartbreak. You actually had to learn that hey, I was closed off. You had to self-diagnose yourself and you had to change something within yourself
Yeah.
first. I think that's the most important thing for a lot of guys who have issues, and it usually comes from family. Most of your issues and your self-esteem will come from how you're raised by your family, or if you had a bad father or lack of father. These are all things that play a role in girls and guys' lives. So if you don't self-diagnose yourself, you don't see how you grew up, and you don't see like how you could change that for yourself, then you're never going to be good with other people. Because if you don't love yourself, how's anyone else going to love you? So that's the big thing for sure.
Yep.
And one thing about Corey Wayne, do you know who Corey Wayne is?
Yeah, I've seen some of his videos. I think he does like more general advice, but he's been married for like he's married, right?
He was married. He was married. And he got divorced,
Oh,
and then yeah, and then he started talking about all that other stuff about what he learned from his past relationship. But that's the one thing I noticed about Corey Wayne is he didn't have any like testimonies. He didn't have any infield footage, and so that's kind of where I started on TikTok. Was I was posting videos of me just getting random girls on the streets, making out with random girls I met, and just having fun. Because I saw like there's a lack of that content that I liked. So I kind of wanted to mix in Danny Duncan and like the minorities with some very
oh yeah.
powerful knowledge.
Dude, fun fact that the minorities got inspired by Honest Signals back in the day.
Really?
That's why they started, yeah. And they
Hell yeah.
started with mostly pickup videos, and then they slowly transitioned away.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty awesome. Like I wish, but that's the thing is about the minorities and Danny Duncan is they don't really talk about like a mindset and like having healthy relationships. So that's why I was like, yeah, I want to mix both. I think that's
Yeah,
education and entertainment is super awesome.
yeah. It's hard to strike that balance too, because if you
It
do
is.
too much information, people tune it out, and if you
Yep.
do too much entertainment, it's just like you're not contributing anything to the world, and it's kind of like mind numbing. So
Yeah.
yeah, you got to strike the balance. Edutainment.
Exactly. And so, how old were you when you first started like this journey of self? Was this after high school, or when did you like start learning about this stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. You could define self development in a lot of ways, but I'd say the big steps I took where I moved away from my dad.
Hmm.
Um, I started meditating. I started lifting weights. I started building a social life, even if it wasn't the best one, and started getting involved in sports. So I played ultimate frisbee. You get some community there. I think a
And that's
lot
how you
of
broke
people
your
that are
nose.
sad or depressed, the only thing they really need is community. It's like, and at the
Yeah.
end of the end of your life, you're just gonna remember memories you have with friends and experiences you have with people. So yeah, you have to build a community. Like human beings are not meant to be lone wolves. We like
Right.
need other people.
The
So
Sigma, the Sigma, Sigma grind set.
dude, that
Those dudes on
misspelled
TikTok.
entrepreneur account is probably my favorite account of all time. It's like E ENTRAPA. Wait, P. Yeah, this is it.
They
This
just post memes or what?
yeah, they post. It's a combination of stuff. They just parody the entire like. It's like the whole money Instagram account. So this is it. It's called
Oh, like
Entrepreneur.
the motivation shit.
Yeah, it's one of my
That's
favorite accounts.
comedy.
Yeah, I love Danny Duncan too. It's just like he's very fun. Does whatever the fuck he wants. Not worried about consequences.
Yeah, that's the one thing is like I feel like being like I think the word alpha, so many guys take the word like seriously. Like I gotta be serious, dude, you know. But I see Danny Duncan as an alpha male as well. Like he does whatever the fuck he wants to do. He doesn't care.
Yeah,
And that's the one thing is like, yeah, there's different types of alpha males, and that's the kind of alpha male I want other guys to be like as well. And I think that does well with women, with learning about women, understanding women, and women do better and they have more fun. They open up better with guys like that for sure.
yeah, and it depends on the because what alpha basically means it relates back to the dominance hierarchy in human beings, and it's like there's more higher status men, and then there's lower status men. So there's like a continuum, a spectrum, and that exists in a lot of different communities too. So like for example, if a girl really likes athletes, she's gonna see like a wide receiver as higher status than like uh placeholder kicker thing, or she's gonna see or like the water boy or whatever, right? And she's gonna also prioritize athletes because she respects them more than some guy who's just like really good at solving financial equations.
Right.
Meanwhile, if a girl's like in the financial industry, she's gonna like that guy Sam Bankman-Fried, the guy who started
The guy who scammed
his,
fucking everybody.
yeah, his like main chick like also owned like a financial firm. So of course she's gonna look up to him right? She
Fucking
doesn't give a fuck
nerds.
about who this what's it called, like an athlete or something. She wants guys that are like financially dominant, you know.
Yeah.
So, but
So
I think in general too, the overall traits of guys that are high status are they're less. They don't care what other people think. They're not super reactive to the thoughts and opinions of others, and they're also not super reactive in general or like jarry like that, or they don't like hyper react or move when things happen. Uh, what else? When they speak, people listen. Typically, they have like great voices. What else? Yeah, they basically do what they want. And they people follow them. I think that's a huge trait too. It's just leadership. It's not just like the traits of a good leader, but people just generally gravitate to them, listen to what they have to say, follow their lead, and yeah.
yeah, I agree 100%. And I remember I was watching your first podcast that you created, the Austin Summers podcast. It was on YouTube, and you talked a little bit about the pros and cons of being a natural, and I could kind of understand why there are some pros and cons to being a natural with women. So did you want to like expand more on like what the pros and cons are?
Yeah, so if you're naturally good with girls, in terms of like women just typically like you oftentimes just have a very short dating career. You basically like you date until you're like 23 or 24, and then you get married. Like there's a lot of guys that they just yeah, whatever, they just find a girl they like and they settle down really really early on. Um, Another thing too is they're less able to direct their energies to what they want. So um, let's say they have a bad night, they're more likely to spiral out of control, and they don't know the steps to get them in the zone again. Because oftentimes naturals will anchor their confidence on things externally like alcohol. So like
Hmm.
if they have their alcohol, they're able to go out and approach, but not without it. So um, I think what's cool about learning game is that you can anchor it internally. So it's like I, I'm able to go out. I know I have this skill set. I don't need anything externally. I don't need alcohol. I don't need a stimulant. I don't need my friend group that I usually go out with. That's another thing is that naturals will like in their own friend group and their environment where they're comfortable, they can connect with people very easily and meet girls easily. But if you drop them in a new city, I have this thing. I'm making a video on alcohol. That's why I mentioned it a couple times. But it's like I'm gonna get the exact line that I put in here. It's like, yeah, you could drop me blindfolded and naked into a random city and I could get laid. Like, I just have the skill set. I have the fundamental trust in myself and my abilities. Um, yeah. And when you learn how to do game and you learn that, from the process of it, you develop core confidence. So, yeah, I don't know if that really is the right answer. I have to actually think. I'm more, to be honest. I feel like my improv ability is pretty good for like content, but I'm much better if I just like if you just lock me in a room for 2 days, I'll write the best piece of content that exists on anything in this space. But on the fly, I don't really have that many great answers. But yeah, what
Well,
else about guys?
another thing I noticed as well is like guys who are naturally good, they don't have any reason to be better. Like they're already, it's just like, oh, I'm good enough. It's like
Yeah, good point.
I'm at a good enough level where I don't need to try any harder. But I feel like the guys who are not good with women, they hit this wall, right? They hit this wall really hard through either a heartbreak, they get cheated on, the girl they really like fucks another dude, right? Things like that. And they hit a wall like, damn, I need to do something. I need to research what I could do to be better with girls, things like that. And then they start somehow passing the natural dude because they actually put in effort and they start learning
Yeah,
more. The natural dudes, they don't have any reason to want to learn more. They're just good enough. So
yeah, it's true. They let good be the enemy of great. Yeah, when you have a system too, your system just gets more and more dialed in. Like I have a CRM that I created, basically like a way to manage the girls that I'm pursuing. I like to do like a moderate volume strategy when meeting girls. So like if I'm not that into a girl, I just completely eliminate her. If I'm on the fence ever, I just she's just not in my funnel, basically. And then if I do have a girl that, I only pursue the girls that I'm attracted to, and the girls that I, not only attracted physically, but the energy they give off is positive. I have girls that literally want to fuck me, and every time I see them out, they're like super sweet to me, and they're always like, hey, let's, and I just literally have to push them away because there's something about their energy that I just don't resonate with it, whether it's too clingy, or like they need the validation, or they need the, I don't know. Anyway, so I have like a moderate volume strategy, and that gets better and better and more refined over time. Whereas, yeah, like you said, a natural is just like, yeah, I'm pretty good looking, I'm pretty cool, girls like me, I can get a girl if I want. But then oftentimes maybe they don't go after the girls that they want, or they don't have that strategy in place to really, I guess, surpass. But that's another thing, is like, why do they need to surpass? So like, why do you need to surpass what someone's doing? A lot of times when people are most successful in things, they have it comes from a place of low self-esteem, or what's it called? Yeah, those are three traits. There's like three traits of really successful people in general.
Yeah, like most of them have like a chip on their shoulder, or like something. Yeah.
Yeah, they always want more. And I wish I could find this. Let me see. They yeah, here it is. Superiority complex. They think they deserve more than other people. Insecurity. They think they'll never be good enough. They always are pursuing growth. They want their life to be more interesting. They want more. And then number 3 is impulse control. So they can control their actions to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term success. Right? So those are 3 traits that all successful people share. There's obviously more traits that like a certain percentage share. Like one would be like high conscientiousness, industriousness, sticking to something. But the insecurity is like, if you're actually like, you're like, fuck, I need more girls, or I need hotter girls, or like it's this force that drives you to do more and more and more. And yeah, a lot of naturals don't have that. And then the superiority complex is basically like, you believe that you deserve more than other people. And that's like for rich people. That's also for girls. This can also come down to narcissism, but also just high self-esteem. If you have high self-esteem, you do believe that you deserve the greatest things. Like when I see a really hot girl, a girl has an epic ass, beautiful, stunning, I'm like, God put her there for me.
Yep.
Why would I let her waste her time with guys who don't understand, the world, don't understand nutrition, can't provide epic experiences, aren't financially as well off as I am, aren't as cool, funny, interesting as I am, can't fuck her as well as I can. Like, you have to get into like your inner Andrew Tate and just like start talking about how awesome you are, because that literally is attractive to girls. And that's one of the reasons why, funny enough, the crazy hot matrix. Have you seen this?
No.
Crazy matrix. It's basically like, the hotter you get, the crazier girls are.
Oh yeah. Okay, I saw. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I saw.
And one of the reasons is because who are the men that believe they are attractive enough to approach and sleep with like 10s? They're literally insane. You have to like self-delude yourself to the point where you're like, of course this woman that is like a beautiful gift from God is for me. Because who else would she have, right? I'm literally her only option. Like, you have to kind of get into this state. And what do they say? Like, game breeds narcissism like nothing else, right? So it's like, it's so funny too, because like after you fuck a hot girl, you look in the mirror and you'll be like, God, I'm so fucking good looking.
Yeah.
There was like some chick. She was like on this podcast, and they were like, and she's like debating a black pillar, and she's like, yeah, but what about Austen Somerset? He's not traditionally good looking, and he's like fucking pretty hot girls and bullying them. And he's like, well, I don't know who that is. I have to find the clip. It's pretty funny. But I'll even see that, and I'll be like, what is she talking about? I am like a god. But yeah, and I think there's the mental part, but then there's also the reality part. So you could have the mental part in the beginning. It's okay to let a little delusion in, as long as you do the work necessary to get it done. Like, dude, yesterday I hit a hard fucking workout, played ultimate frisbee, ran around. Today I worked out again. Like, I'm in good physical shape. I'm in good mental shape. My mindset is super strong. Even when I need, like today, I'm feeling kind of out of it. I didn't sleep very much. I still force myself to go to the gym, do this podcast, whatever,
Right.
I think it's important to like cultivate a mindset where you can do anything. I think that's one of the most attractive things for girls. I kind of touched on this before, but there's like the two dual mating strategies, right? There's like
Yep.
short-term mating, long-term mating.
Yeah.
Ideally, you have the traits of both the lover, the guy that can like, he's a bad boy, he's a fucking fuck boy, he's got a bunch of bitches, she's attracted to him, he's a good leader, he's dominant, he fucks her well. But also the traits of a guy that, good financial prospects, dependable, stable emotions, supportive, like all the qualities that make a great man in the long term and the short term. If you cultivate both of those, then women choose you in general. They just go like, you are everything to me. Like, you provide me all the emotions. I feel secure around you. I also feel like it's thrilling to be around you. Also, when you fuck me, I'm kind of like, wow, this is crazy shit I've never done before. She gets like a wide variety of experiences that she doesn't get with a regular guy. And that's what makes her not only fuck you, but stay with you. So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of guys.
I don't even know what the original question was. Jesus. ADHD in real life.
God skill. Yeah, but yeah, I know so many so many guys, they don't really understand how much girls actually value sex. Like, more than dudes. Girls value sex way more than dudes. Like, so it's super important to be good in bed and to actually understand like what turn women on in the bedroom, all those other things, because that's what's gonna get her to come and want to be with you the next day and the next day and the next day. But that's the one thing I get so many guys like, I met this girl, everything was going good, like we had sex, and then she just ghosted me. I'm like, yeah, probably because the sex was bad, bro. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, and also how you leave it off. So there's things that you should do after sex as well. So I actually have. Did I record this yet? Yeah, I did. Okay. So basically, how do you behave after sex? But one thing I want to touch on is that women experience sex differently. Men, we have more like latent sexuality. Like, like today I woke up with a fucking boner. Like, there's no girl around when I woke up today, but I was just fucking, horny. So
Right.
women have less of that, and they have more responsive sexuality. So they respond to a man being around them. And also, like, if you're just talking to a girl, she's going to start getting aroused. So I like, the saying is like, every time you pass a shit test, it's like a rotation on the girl's clitoris. But girls become more attracted to you over time. It's like their attraction is like a volume knob, right? So you get more attracted over time. And yeah, being good at bed in bed is important. Stop watching porn and if you haven't had a lot of sex and you don't know what women want, I'd actually advise you to just get a fuck buddy, to go out, meet a girl that like is pretty good in bed, and just fuck her and get really good at fucking her and get into a nice rhythm with that. Because a couple things happen too when you get into a rhythm of fucking at least one girl, but preferably more, is that you just start viewing women more sexually, which I know sounds weird, but it's actually a good thing, because
It is, yeah.
You recognize that the whole process of game is basically sex. It's all part of the mating dance. It's all part of this play of masculine and feminine energy. So you start coming into you start approaching girls with more swagger, or more riz, as you young kids call it these days. So when you're fully nectared at maximum riz, women really feel that energy off of you, and they want to have coitus with you sooner.
Yeah. Yeah, Riz is a funny ass word. I remember seeing I was like, what is Riz? I see all the comments. Riz. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Oh, dude, TikTok is fucking hilarious, dude. Fucking
Yeah,
comedy.
but after sex, what happens with a lot of guys, if they haven't had sex in a long time, which I think it's like 30% of men haven't had sex in the past year, between the ages of 18 and 35. So it's like most of the guys listening to this, they probably haven't had sex in the past year. So what you do is, with scarcity, it comes in your mind, and then after you have sex with a girl, your initial thoughts are, your brain is basically telling you like, mating opportunities are scarce. Lock this
Right.
girl down so that you can reproduce with her. Um, because one of the aspects of human mating is that women have concealed ovulation, which means you don't know when she's fertile, so you can't tell. So you basically have to be with a woman for like an entire month. So you're just constantly like shooting loads at her to actually get her pregnant. So your brain is telling you, lock this bitch down, get her pregnant, because you don't have any other fucking options. So what
Yeah.
happens is you guys will get this urge, they'll start being needy, possessive after sex, and like saying like, "Hey, when am I going to see you again?" Like they
Yep.
just have come. They're
Nope.
like, "Hi, can I see you again?" So basically, you want to resist that urge and just kind of chat nonchalant and just vibe.
Yeah.
And if you want to get some food, give a ride home, whatever. But just keep things like very laid back.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be her choice to want to see you again, not yours, for sure.
Yeah.
And so you work out, but do you train any martial arts, like mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, any of that?
Man, I should. There's actually a guy who's an MMA fighter in my city, and he wants to train me, like just do a value exchange so that he can train me, and then I'll train him in game. So I will probably start doing that. No, I should say this. I will do that. However, I want to do that after I launch my online course because I have to value my time until that point because it's really intense. It's like writing a book plus like, and also every video I'm making for this course, I'm trying to make it the best piece of content that exists on that topic, which means I write down everything that I think is great. I ask all my friends that are great at game what they think. I put the changes in. I make sure I like didn't forget anything, and then I film it and I make it entertaining and edit it and film. It's just like it's a lot of work. Upload it. Yeah, it's like you're writing a book but filming every sentence.
Right.
So yeah, but I will start because I know the things that are beneficial about martial arts. Maybe you could talk more about this. Is that you can you just have more like you're not afraid of conflict, which I'm not in general, but it makes you like
There's a whole
more
nother level.
grounded.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
a whole nother level. Like once you understand that, hey, I've lost in a fight, I've won in a fight. You don't really care about winning or losing, right? But when it comes to like actually on the street fights, you can look at someone, you'd be like, okay, I can easily beat him. I know how to beat him. I know like what his weaknesses are. I know what my weaknesses are. And it really just comes down to logic, right? So when you actually get into fight with someone, it's no longer emotional. It's no longer I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna do whatever. It's purely logistical, analytical, and here's what I need to win or even kill the dude. So
yeah. Well, I got that to look forward to. Killing people.
yeah, hell yeah, yeah. Have you been to the? I don't know if you've been to the boxer gym. It's like BOXR in Miami.
No boxer
It's
shit.
like
No.
it's a huge influencer gym. It's pretty nice. You could get like a free day pass. Check it out. But a lot of the after this video, I'll tell you more of the dudes in the manosphere who go there and they like it as well. But yeah, dude, what do you think of the red pill? Because I know you don't seem like a hardcore red pill dude, which is pretty great. But do you want to talk more to the dudes who kind of are more on the red pill? Because I know a lot of guys struggle, like kind of getting out of that whole mindset of looking at women as, oh, high body count, or oh, she's a hoe, or oh, she's a thought, or like they get so stuck in the value system of the red pill and all this other bullshit.
Yeah, so I think that I view red pill kind of like astrology for men. So it's
No,
like astrology probably is pretty useful for a lot of girls to conceptualize the world, but it's not necessarily 100% true. My I always want to just get at the reality of things,
right.
which I find that the best source of that, at least for dating, is Evolutionary Psychology by David Buss. What's another one? Like uh, Robert Cialdini's Influence, and my personal experience and talking to my other friends who are really good at game. So I just kind of combine that together, and then I can get at the most accurate representation of the truth. Whereas most red pill, it's like they just read the works of Rollo Tomasi and then they just kind of like repeat the concepts as if it's objective reality, which it isn't. Um, and a lot of things can be better explained. Like the amount of like moments where I just go like, oh shit, when I read this evolutionary psychology book, it's just infinite because it'll just tell you things and you'll be like, wow. Like like for example, the old women with older dudes, they're less likely to be able to procure resources, therefore they are viewed as unattractive.
Mm.
Right? If they're 70 years old about to die, they're not gonna. So a woman thinks like, if this man gets me pregnant, and then it's 3 years and I'm having 2 kids, and he dies, and it's like cold in the winter, I'm just like stuck alone with my kids, and no other man wants to provide me any resources. So it's like it makes it real for me. But anyway, yeah, back to the red pill stuff. I just feel like a lot of it is thinly veiled misogyny. Like what I see, you could just separate what the people are saying from like how they're saying it. Like you can hear some of the way that people in the red pill community talk. It's clear they have like a pain body around women, or they're like women have provided them some sort of traumatic experience, and now they are fighting against this like experience that they had with this one girl and painting everything with a broad brush. I also see like a lot of just bad arguments where they'll just bring up a lot of fallacies. They'll bring up a lot of what's it called, straw man. So like they bring up a position in a way where it's very easy to defeat it, and it's not accurately representing what's happening. They also use like a lot of statistics that are kind of just not true or like have been refuted. But there are some great principles, I think, as well. Like one of the principles I like is spinning plates. Like, and that's basically just goes back to abundance. If you have an
Right.
abundance of women, you're not going to let one treat you poorly. Actually, I created a video pretty recently. It was one of the newest videos for my course. Is on how to protect yourself while dating, and I basically summarized everything that you need for from Red Pill into a 20-minute video. I think it's actually 25 minutes, but you can basically all the lessons you need to learn from or the whole entire Red Pill community. You can learn in 25 minutes and then move on with your life. The problem is that guys, this becomes their new religion where they basically have to go to the sermon every day or every week and just like listen to the people say the same things over and over again so they can just buy into this like new religion. Which also, if you want to go deeper, that's the problem when you remove religion from a society, either intentionally or unintentionally, is that people find other things to make into the religion. So
Mm.
whether it's CrossFit or red pill or astrology, like people just go into these different avenues, and just because human beings, we are naturally religious. So if you are right now listening to this, you're an agnostic atheist, you should ask yourself, what am I actually turning into my new religion? And I don't believe the solution either is to go into what's it called, an agricultural age religion. Agricultural age religions are like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and the problem with those is agriculture age. You're basically, your strategy for survival is to focus on hoarding resources. So you're basically generating excess food to hoard, and you have your animals, you have your property, etc. So when that applies to women as well, it views women more like property, right? That's why you can have like wives, concubines, and they're kind of treated like property. Like if you read the Bible and the Quran and what's called the Torah.
Yep.
But anyway, the religion that I would like to have is animistic religion, and that's the longest held religion in human history. Is basically like believing that everything has a spirit. Like, have you ever seen Avatar?
Yeah, yeah. But you're
It's
you're
basically
more like
like that.
you're more spiritual though, right? You're like more yeah.
I'm not. I wish I
Really?
was. I legitimately wish I was more spiritual, but I think that's something that I can look into once I have a 7-figure business. Is that dedicating more time to spirituality. But for right now, I have to defer that. But I think a lot of things that are spiritual are literally it's just reality, right? It's like
Yeah.
that, and that's the thing with animism. They just see the spirit in everything. Like when you look at a dog's eyes and they're like looking at your face and they're like smiling. Like you're not like this is a non-human. You see that it has some kind of life force energy in it,
Yeah.
right? The same with trees. You go in nature, you feel like a certain energy. So that's kind of like animism. I wish I could get into that, but honestly, I think this is one of my opinions. Is that it's my hot take right here, exclusive. Actually, it's not exclusive. I say this all the time, but I think modern life has made us more unhappy in a variety of ways. But anyway, your original question was on red pill, so let me summarize my thoughts. Yeah, get an abundance of women. Know the difference between fake attraction and real attraction. Don't fuck crazy bitches. Give them the dark triad test. Give them the big 5 personality test. Don't be with girls long term that are high psychopathy, high openness to experience, low conscientiousness. Have some standards. Set really strict goals for your game and standards for yourself. Treat women well. Don't be a dick. Also, don't sleep with drunk girls. And in fact, if you have a girl that's like somewhat tipsy, literally give her water to sober her up. Number one, it's going to save your ass if there's some kind of like sexual assault charge. And number two, drunk girls are fucking gross. They smell bad. They're bad in bed. Like, ugh.
I agree for sure. Definitely, yeah. Drunk girls, like, they're not even in the moment. You want a girl who's genuinely attracted to you without the alcohol. That's the biggest thing for sure. Obviously, alcohol is cool and fun when you're partying and stuff, but you don't need it. You don't need it to have fun. You don't need it to get girls, and then vice versa with girls getting with you.
Also, if you're gonna do a 30-day challenge in game, like, are you gonna drink every single night that you're gonna go out? It's like you're just gonna be you're gonna be a homeless alcoholic by the time you're done with your 30 or 60-day challenge.
Yeah. How do girls usually react when they find your content? Probably because most of the girls you hook up with, they probably search you up on Instagram. That's how girls are. How do they usually react when they find your videos and stuff?
Well, most of the girls I sleep with never find the videos, but
Really?
the ones that I'm with long term, I just tell them after the third date. I just sit them down and I tell them like, this is the kind of stuff that I do. This is my job. I help people. I tell them my backstory. And then I show them like funny, like I show them like stoners picking up girls, that video I shot. And then I'll show them like Casey Neistat video, just like the fun ones first. And then I'll show them like some of the advice videos. And yeah. And then every girl I date long-term, I don't like put the infield online of, but
Right.
I'll put date vlogs up with them if they're cool with it. I have a funny story for this. I got to get more into stories, dude. The way my brain works is I just want the most condensed information just like injected into my brain, and I realize that 99% of people are not like that. They like stories and anecdotes, and that helps them learn. So, dude, so one of these girls that I met, I actually have info over. I haven't put it out. I'll probably put it in my course though. She's a professional dancer, fucking stunning, D-cup tits, like epic ass, just like cute, petite, like fit because she's a dancer, and just like, oh, dude, she was so hot. So I met her, banged the second time I hung out with her. The first time was just a pull, and it was just like, it was too many people.
Right.
But anyway, so banged, and then she found my content. And she was like, "What? Like you do all this stuff? I don't know. I don't feel whatever."
It's a shit
just like
test.
not about it. And then so I couldn't get her out, but I met her. I had bumped into her again at this nightclub, and I basically just like did the whole thing. I'm like, I framed it. It's like, hey, there's like people go to the doctor when they're sick, and people when they they need dating help, they go to a dating coach, right? So that's what I do, and it helps guys and whatever. And like, I obviously don't post anything without girls' consent, and then blah blah blah, whatever. So then I just gamed her, and then I pulled her again and banged her.
Yeah,
and then again, she's like, I don't know. It's kind of funny. Like once you understand game, you can just like you basically bang whatever you want. Like
because attraction is not an option.
In that scenario, you can change people's opinions and minds and emotions, and you don't really change a girl's mind. You change her what's it called, mood. Change her
Yeah, I mean,
mind.
exactly. Like, attraction's not an option. She's already attracted to you. She already hooked up with you. It's basically just a shit test to see if you have the balls or not to, be a pussy about it and be like,
Well, it's also
oh,
she doesn't want the social blowback on her friend when her friends find out about it and stuff. So
exactly.
some
Yeah,
girls just don't want to get involved with a guy like me, and that's completely fine, right? Um, there's a lot of girls that I don't want to get involved with, so it's like it's her decision at the end of the day. If obviously, yeah, like you said, attraction is not a choice. She's still attracted to me, but logically, women make decisions about relationships logically, and they'll go, huh, like social issues with my friends, them judging me. Also, like, do I want a boyfriend at this point in my life? I'm super busy. I'm trying to do X, Y, Z, and whatever. So yeah, and that's fine, right? I don't need to have every girl being my girlfriend. Like, it's dude. I once had
it's
like
too
two
many.
girlfriends at the same time, and it was literally a nightmare. It was just
Yeah,
so time consuming.
it
Like, I'd
is.
be like, "All right, baby, good night. Hey, girlfriend, too. What's up?" It's just like you're just more messaging and yeah, and then problems and jealousy. But funny enough, what they say as jealousy is most pronounced when it's newly realized and competitive. So the one time in my life that I've been woken up back to back with blowjobs was from my two girlfriends. And they're like, and they never did it any other day, but it was like one day I had one girl sleep over, and girls are like they can just tell. I don't know what it is, but they also they're more intuitive.
Yeah, with
I
their
don't have to go into
emotion.
the reasons for that,
Yeah, they're way
but
better.
women are just better in every
They're
way.
no, they're just better when it comes to like the emotional stuff, bro. It's crazy. Like they're on
Yeah,
another level. Naturally,
yeah,
like it's crazy. They can bullshit test any guy. It's too simple. But what do you think of Andrew Tate blowing up?
yeah. I think I like a lot of his stuff. Let me go into what I like. I like that he has a strong message for guys, but wait, let me go into this. Let's see. He has a strong message for men. That you should believe in yourself. You should have a strong mindset. You should go after what you want. It's okay to be masculine. It's okay to be a man. It's okay to want like fucking hot girls and driving fast cars or whatever. Um, I think he's the best salesman he's the best salesman I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like the way he frames things is god tier. Like you listen to a podcast with him, the beginning of the podcast, you're like, who is this guy? By the end of the podcast, you're like, if I don't buy this man's course in every tier that he offers, I'm going to be dying alone as a virgin in a field while like vultures just eat my corpse. But if I join him, I'm going to be part of this like inner circle of just winners. Everything's going to be warm and inviting and awesome. And I'm going to make tons of money. I'm going to have my dick's going to smell like, 17 bitches by 2 p.m. Like, it's so funny. And it's like, if ever I need anything, I just call upon this network. And so the way he frames things is like God tier. Like, I think by watching him, you naturally become a better salesperson because you just see if you can see what he's doing. I've never bought any of his courses, so I can't talk about that. But I think he's a great salesperson, is a good message, and he's pretty cool, right? He's very
yeah.
likable, funny. Downsides are he doesn't read books, so he says stupid shit all the time. An example would be he'll be like 200, 300 years ago when like, or no, he'll be, even if he said, sometimes he'll be like 3,000 years ago, everyone was hunting for survival. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? The agricultural revolution happened 10,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. He gets like so many things wrong like that on a specific level or like a scientific level or historical level that I'm just like, if you're a smart person listening to him, like obviously take things with a grain of salt. And I think it's good to pay attention to what he does rather than what he says in a lot of ways, right? It's kind of like Ty Lopez. Instead of just listening to what Ty Lopez says, look at what he's doing. Look at how he markets. Look at how he sets up his sales pages. Look at how Andrew Tate sells. Look at how he frames things.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can learn a lot from that. A lot of people naturally fall into the role of looking for a male father figure because a lot of guys don't have strong role models these days.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so they kind of have like a surrogate father figure in Andrew Tate, right?
Yeah. So it's been an hour. I know you wanted to do an hour long meeting. Is there anything you wanted to say before we finish up this podcast?
I can keep going if you want. I don't care. We can talk
Fuck
about
it. Send
anything.
it. Send it.
Okay. You do like another
I'm
30 minutes, and then I should probably film my alcohol video.
Hell yeah. So I remember seeing a video of you in a wheelchair, and it's funny because before I saw the video of you doing the wheelchair, I was like, holy shit! I used to like fuck around in wheelchairs at like Knott's. I don't know if you've been to Knott's Scary Farm or like an amusement park, but we would act retarded, and they'd give us a wheelchair, and then we'd skip the whole entire line to go on the roller coaster. And then before, while we're on the wheelchairs, we're always picking up chicks, having girls sit on our laps on the wheelchair. It's a funny thing. It's like, and it shows like, dude, so many guys make excuses to pick up girls. Like if I was really in a wheelchair, and I even saw guys in real wheelchairs because they're like actually crippled in clubs having girls fucking twerk on them and shit, and like there's no excuse for you how you look, your abilities. Like there's no excuse to not get girls.
Yeah, I won't sugarcoat. The one of the things is like if a girl sees it on like I was legitimately in a wheelchair for that because I injured myself playing ultimate frisbee.
Oh shit.
But after uh but it only took me like 1 to 2 months to get better.
Okay.
I like injured my foot. I couldn't like flex my foot upward. But anyway, but one of the things if she sees a guy like me and I can like, you know, I can still like walk kind of, but it's a slow and it's just an injury and I'm going to get better. That I think that's different than a guy that's like wheelchair bound for life. They can obviously still make it work, but I don't want to sugarcoat it. It's going to be harder for a guy that is not able bodied because women want to like walk with you and maybe go on a hike or go to the beach and like there are things that complicate that. The more handicapped you become. Um, they talk about like male privilege or whatever. I think there's literally like there definitely is like able-bodied privilege,
Yeah,
right?
there is.
I guess there's also handicap privilege too. If you're skipping lines and getting handicap parking passes,
It's
so
pretty clutch.
everything has its own perks. But yeah, yeah. I don't know if that's a good note to end on, but yeah, I think it's it's more difficult for them, but they can make it work. That's at the end of the
Yeah, I mean, even them going out and being confident in themselves is like a very important thing. So many guys are just so fearful to go even talk to a girl. It's ridiculous. I remember when I did my first like video with a dude, and he's never even gotten a girl's number. And I was like, dude, holy shit! There's like guys in fucking wheelchairs pulling bitches. Like, you at least gotta get the girls. Yeah, at least get the girl's fucking number. He was like so scared. And then I had him talk to like 20 plus girls in the mall. And at the end of the day, he was like, oh, okay, it's not that big of a deal. But so many guys are so fearful. So, just that example alone is pretty powerful.
Yeah, I think a really good frame to have around just in life in general is just to assume that you should be able to do things like
Yeah.
whatever one other person could do, you can do as well. Like I have a boat club I belong to now, so I can just take boats out whenever I want. And before I was literally just like, I want a boat. That seems cool. I want to fuck a girl on a boat. Like, and then I had my buddy who had a boat, and he was like, dude, just boost out into the water and then like you're just in the ocean, you can fuck the girl, and then you can come back, explore an island with her. It's like I don't know, it just sounded really cool. And then I'm like, listen, people have boats. Somehow they all figured out how to have boats. I am not so stupid that I can't figure out how to get a boat. So I figured out how to do it, and I did it. Took all the tests, did all the stuff, and yeah. So whatever state you mind to, you can do. One thing with game, it involves a lot more anxiety than other things because we didn't evolve to approach strangers. But every other part of game is natural. You're supposed to connect with women. You're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to, do all of it. The one thing is the approaching is not natural. So by desensitizing yourself, you can adjust your brain to approaching strangers. And the best way to do that is with the desensitization protocol where you have basically 1 to 2 weeks where you go out and progressively desensitize. Yeah, in my course, I have like 2 programs for that. One is like if you just want to go balls deep or balls in, and then one is slower desensitization. But yeah.
And they can find all these courses and everything on your website, which is austensummers.com or
Yeah, austensummers.com, or just check out YouTube, Austen Summers.
deal. And then another thing you talk about was self-amusement and self-entertainment, which is it works 100% of the time, especially when you're just trying to have fun, be goofy. And yeah, because girls are going to notice that, hey, this guy's having fun. He doesn't give a fuck. Like, speak more on self-amusement and like how you kind of word it and stuff like that for YouTube.
Yeah. So self-amusement is the process of make yourself feel good, laugh, have fun from an understanding of what, makes you laugh. And then you kind of just use it to get into the zone, but you can also use it in a variety of other contexts that make it really effective. One of which is like anytime you're doing something that puts high social pressure on a girl or a group, you can use humor to make it be okay. Example would be like, everyone's laughing, having a good time, and then you get into an elevator to go upstairs, and it's just like quiet and kind of awkward, and you're just like staring at each other really close. Funny thing to say is just like nobody fart, and then everyone laughs, and then you can kind of like loosen up that way. So another thing I'd say when I would pull is like right before entering, I'd be like, guys, just so you know, my grandma's sleeping, so just try to be quiet. She said that she baked cookies for all of us, so we're gonna check that out. But and then obviously there's no grandma, but so you can fuck around in a way that it makes it more kind of like it takes the girl's mind off of like scary or high pressure things. But yeah, it's not the magic bullet of the game. It's just basically like a way to have fun. And I think one of the biggest things for guys warming up, like guys don't understand that they should warm up. And I think that's the reason why the alcohol industry exists, is because people don't know the like how to do a 5 to 10 minute warm up before game. Once you get really, really good at game, you don't need to warm up as much. You kind of like the amount of warm up time you have just decreases, until it's basically nothing. And then you're basically warming up with the first girl that you talk to. But in the beginning, it's really important to have that so that you just have a default way of getting into the zone. So like, it does kind of go in hand with social momentum, because if you're warming up, you're building social momentum. So you're just talking to a bunch of people on the way to the venue. If you're cracking jokes, you're laughing, you're loosening up, you're getting more in your body. You're not going to be thinking about, oh my God, what if I approach this girl like everyone makes? Oh. Like you want to get out of that energy as much as possible. And yeah, your internal state's contagious, right? So if you're having a great time, women are going to feel that off of you. But this is like one of the core concepts of the second phase of game. First phase of game is desensitization. Second phase of game is vibe. Third phase of game is sexualizing. So if you're able to joke and laugh and have a great time with girls and vibe with them, then on top of that goodwill and good energy, you can start sexualizing. If from the beginning you're just like, hey, oh, like it's just too much, right? Because there's no fun associated with it.
Yeah,
but
that's just
if you
sexual
stack
harassment.
on top of the fun, the sexualizing, then you have a great interaction. So,
deal. And how long do you see yourself doing YouTube for? Like, for how long do you see yourself doing YouTube and the dating coaching? How long do you see yourself doing this stuff?
Yeah, probably for like maybe three to 5 more years. I'm going to do it enough until I can afford a large piece of land. And then I'm going to have like 2 or 3 base trad wives to live with me on this plot of land and have a bunch of animals, have like a nice stream nearby, live in the beauty of nature, have some trad wives,
Based.
live off the grid.
Based.
And then, yeah, and maybe have enough money to do some traveling. But no, I probably, I don't know. I don't really see myself quitting because this is what I've sunk a decade of my life into. So
yeah,
And I feel like it's one of those things like you're kind of working on it right now. Like the insights that you're going to be able to give to guys, 5-10 years from now is going to be like, you're going to look back at like yourself today and be like, what the fuck? The
Yeah.
same thing with me. 10 years from now, I'm going to be able to have more wisdom. So it's just kind of like your wisdom grows and you're able to solve people's problems a lot faster. Like, I'll get some guy who's like fucking borderline suicidal. And then, 4 months later, he's got like a fucking hot girlfriend. And
Yep.
it's like, you see the transformation. You're able to solve people's problems. You're able to distill down to exactly what they need to do to make it happen. It's kind of rewarding in that sense. And then it's like, I don't know. It is kind of exciting for me, the thought of doing something else. But then I also think that that's probably entrepreneurial ADHD where you're just like, oh, this would be cool to do. And this would be cool to do. Like you see all those, honestly, I do feel like they're losers. The guys that just like, they move from like e-commerce to fucking drop shipping to crypto, and then NFTs blew up. So like NFTs, and now NFTs are kind of not a big thing anymore. So now they're doing content, and then they're going into AI. It's just like
Yeah, they're
they
late.
don't stick. Yeah, they don't stick to anything long enough to see the rewards from it. Yeah, and that's another thing. Yeah, they show up late, or they show up late to the party or whatever they're
Yep.
doing. Like what's his name?
Exactly.
John D. Rockefeller, the oil titan. He
Mm.
grew up absolutely broke, poor, and he got into the oil industry. But back then, the oil industry was just used for lamps. And when you think
Mm.
about it, lamps were dying out because the adoption of electricity and electric light bulbs were kicking in. So like it was kind of like destined for him just to be making less money in the future. But what happened is, as the light bulbs came in, the automobile kicked in. So he ended up from being poor in a industry that was shrinking to being the richest person in human history because he got there early. It's kind of interesting.
Nice. What do you think about this, like the dynamic between men and women today? Because I know, like back then, right, when there was actually war, guys were more masculine because they were actually forced to be in those masculine roles, and women were forced to be in the more feminine roles. Now today, you start to see more guys acting more feminine and more women acting more masculine. Obviously, due to feminism and weak men. But what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I think that this is another thing, is like I think people misattribute the cause of things a lot of the time. Um, like feminism maybe didn't cause the a worse behavior of women toward men. Feminism may itself be a a result of uh, population shift, and maybe a result of uh, economic development. So, for example, um, do you know about like what is that fucking net? The name's slipping my mind right now, but it's like basically this different phases of a country's development change its birth rate. For example, like um, when you're developing as a developing country, you're going to have a lot more girls having kids. Man, I can't speak anymore. But you're having more. They're having more kids. Probably like, how old are you? Are you like 23?
I'm 19.
Oh, you're 19. Okay, so yeah, probably your grandparents, um, or your great grandparents. They probably had a lot of kids, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like the fuck,
Yeah.
like over 10, bro.
Yeah. So my dad had four brothers and my mom had five sisters. So
Damn.
like, and then you got into like you probably are what, an only child, or you have a brother or a sister?
I have a few siblings,
Okay.
a few half siblings as well, but yeah, nothing more than like five.
Yeah, and then now it's like very few people are like, who do you know that's having kids? It's like it's pretty.
It's
I
rare,
don't know.
dude.
It doesn't seem that that common from the people I know. So there's things that happen that are just a result of like economic development, because now we're like a post-industrial nation in the economic information age. So like I think a lot of those things are just a result of that. So for example, like you asked about how men and women uh, interact. So I do. This is one of the things where I think Andrew Tate is correct. He says that uh, once men and women go closer to like it's closer to survival. Like you're in a survival situation, they
Yeah.
revert back to their gender roles.
Yeah.
Um,
We're not in hard times. Like hard times create strong men, right? So we're not in hard times. There's no war, right? So like back in caveman days, like he says, that's when guys actually had to survive and be in their masculine roles, you know, and that's the one thing he talks about. But yeah, and then even for us, like we have cycles, you know, so you know, good times create weak men, and the weak men create hard times. So it's a continuous cycle with also technology, like you said, and industrialization, right? So it all like is all together. It's a full cycle. So like when guys start to become more weak, guys start to become more feminine, that's when society falls apart. You know, just like in Rome, when they started to go into all the transgender stuff and they started to, you know, mix all this weird bullshit together. That's when it all fell apart from the inside. So many people are so worried about other countries attacking us, but that's not really how it works. You know, it's always falling apart from the inside. So
well,
that's one thing.
there's a couple things with that too. What if I love this quote? It's like a lot of people are worried about World War III starting, but what if I told you that World War III has been going on for the past 20 years?
Yeah.
And it's just been like a different form. So one way of thinking about attacking is like a physical or like military threat. But what if you're doing cyber attacks? Or what if you're seeding resentment? Like you know about those like Russian trolls and like they'll
I mean,
put
dude,
like
China,
they'll two
yeah, China's
Facebook
doing it right now.
pages and they'll put them like across the street from each other like a protest and they just go at it. It's just
Yeah, like
like
we're at a war with like social media and technology, dude. Like if you open TikTok in America, a brand new account. I even told my buddy, create a new account, see what's gonna be on your For You page. Ass, titties, ass, titties. In China, they don't do that shit. They have videos of like kids doing math and like other shit. And it's only us. Like it's a total attack on like what kids are seeing on technology and like what we're also being censored to see. Like they're censoring Andrew Tate, they're censoring other information, and they only want you to see like all this weird shit. Like most of the ads on YouTube, I don't know if you've seen like the ads on YouTube. It's like some dudes wearing makeup and some weird shit. Like it's a total war on people's minds.
yeah, you know what's weird too as a result of that is that people want to leave. So it's think about this, or at least for me, my family like for generations have been in America. At least going back 4 generations. Like many of them came in like the early 1900s from like Europe, but even then, it's like each generation they wanted to stay in America, and I may be the first generation that moves out of America.
Yeah,
Right? Isn't
yeah,
that weird? And
yeah.
it's like you're in a society that like everything like works, it functions, except the social fabric of the society is kind of a little weird and off, and the dating market's kind of bad. It's
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying. Like that's
everything
what
else in
leads.
America, I'm not really worried about. Like I don't know.
I mean, that's
Very good.
the thing that leads to like a whole society falling apart is because all the guys who understand like I don't want to be here, right? I don't want to be in America. You don't want to be in America. You're seeing like there's better countries. So when all these great dudes leave, and all these people who actually understand, and they start to leave, they don't want their families being in the school system because, dude, the school system's totally
Yeah.
brainwashing kids. The families start to leave, and what's left? It's a bunch of like
Well,
total
you just got
feminists.
out of school, so why don't you? Are there things that they were like telling you in school that now you look at and you're like, what the fuck?
Bro,
I was programmed.
bro, I got canceled by my entire high school because I was making videos like this shit. Like my whole high school, all my teachers, all like everyone in my high school, the whole state of California tried canceling me because I was making videos trying to make,
Wow.
you know, trying to tell guys to better themselves and telling women to not be total hoes if they want to get far in life, you know? And I got canceled by like my whole entire high school. Like, dude, total brainwashing. Like it's on another level for sure.
Yeah, but do they teach you anything in school about like the one thing that conservative guys are really worried about sending their children to school is like they talk about like a trans unicorn and like
Dude,
they're
no.
like giving like kids books about like was that what they were doing in
Yeah,
your
dude,
schools?
they try to like teach you about like transgenderism and all this other weird stuff. They try to teach you about like some stuff that's not even related closely to school. Like even in science, like they were trying to tell us how men and women are exactly the same. We're completely equal. And I got in trouble because I stood up and said, "No, we're not fucking equal. Like if I punch this girl in the face and she punches me in the face, that's not like it's not even close to the amount of power. Like I even like the science class, our English teachers, it's so liberal. It's so like it's like straight up communism, bro. Like they're just forcing a bunch of bullshit.
Interesting. Yeah, I think all that stuff kind of started in when I was in my like first year of college because there was this thing called the slut walk, and I was in some group like at school, and they were talking about like we go to a march and we're doing this and like it's okay to be a slut and da, da, da. And then I was just like, is this is a bit weird, no? And yeah, I don't know. Some people buy this stuff hook, line, sinker. They don't really think. They just if other people are saying it, they just can parrot it and go with it. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that that's one of the reasons why people are leaving. Like they think like, do I want my child being raised in a society like this? Like it's kind of gross and weird, and
It is
you
weird.
know, it's scary too. You're like, I'm giving my child to this school system that's going to like enforce,
Brainwash them.
or it's going to like, yeah, send basically like weird opinions down its throat when my kid should be learning like things that are going to help him in life.
Yeah, and even if you are like
Also,
in
the
the
fucking school system's so outdated in general.
yeah, it's by the government, bro. Like yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's
you're gonna
true.
trust the
Takes them
government
20
to
years to adapt to anything.
yeah. Not only that, it's like the government. They don't want you to be successful. They don't want you to be an entrepreneur. They don't want you to not be brainwashed. You know, they want you to be a part of the system. They want you to be a worker. They want you to believe in all this feminist crap to get women to work for them. Because at the end of the day, it's all about money, dude. Like they understand. Like if they get more girls to go to college and then go to work, cool, more money in their pockets. You know, if they could get girls to be more sexually free and put marriage aside, cool, more money for them because the girls are gonna be working longer. You know, they're not gonna be married to a dude that has money. You know, so it's at the end of the day, it's more money in their pockets.
Yeah, and I think another thing with that though, what is it? Never mind. I don't want to go too deep into that. But uh, yeah, man, I don't know why the school system. Hmm. That's something I should like research more because it's fucking weird. Oh, but yeah, this is what I want to talk about: the passport bros and my friend. My friend David. Yeah, I don't know if you know David Bond, but he invented this term like passport pilled. He's like, you know, there's red pill, there's black pill, and then there's like passport pill.
Right.
It's like everything's better when you leave. But I actually don't agree with that. I think that every place has its own pros and cons. Like
Yeah.
one of the great things about being in a Western country is that you have good air quality. Like when I was living in Colombia, like unable to breathe, I had like an air filter, air conditioner, plus like a air filtering mask on, like just to breathe. It's like it gets really bad there because they certain countries just don't value nature. They don't value air quality, food quality, water quality. Like if you go to Mexico City, you can't drink the water. The food makes you vomit, and the air is like pure toxic, like haze. So it's like there's definitely advantages in America.
Yeah.
Good, pretty good legal system. Like the at least in certain states they enforce the law. um I don't know, clean air, it's fun, cool people, people speak English. I don't know, there's definitely some pros, but then it depends on what you value the most. Like for a lot of guys, they're gonna say, I don't give a fuck about any of that, I just want to go where fucking hot girls are feminine and will date me, and I'm not being like, I'm not having some SJW like, brainwash me with some propaganda. Or as Andrew
Yeah.
Tate would say, the slave programming.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
They're trying to put it in my brain. Actually,
Uh,
here's one of the things that I actually have an exercise on my immersion right now. I call it the Andrew Tate exercise. You basically, we give you a topic and then we flip a coin and then you have to create a rant based on that. So like one of the things about him, he'll just like, he'll take a topic like sushi and then make a rant about how sushi is like, sushi, there's no power in sushi. It's going to make you weak, blah, blah, blah. And then, so like I'll literally take those topics and I'll just flip like a coin and have a student go on a rant, because it's one of the things that he does really well, or Andrew Tate, back to that earlier thing, was he speaks with complete conviction.
Mm.
which is an important thing for game, because if you're leading someone, you're not going to be like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, I think it's over here. Like, you just want to be like, no, this is the way we're going. Yeah, let's go. Come on. So you want to lead with like certainty and authority and speak with conviction. So like you could take the same sushi example and flip it the other way. If you don't eat sushi, you're a fucking bitch. What are you afraid of? Fish? Raw fish? You know, your body's so weak you can't handle raw fish. Also, think about the amount of strength that you get out of sushi. Think of a salmon swimming upstream for miles and miles and days just to bust a fat nut in this river. Like, you know, you could take it either way. So
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, it's good to be polarizing. I think so many guys today, especially online, like people are afraid to be polarizing or controversial. But obviously we've seen that, dude, controversy is probably the greatest thing for marketing, dude. Like there's nothing better. Like, and that's one thing I learned when I got canceled. Like when everyone was like trying to cancel me. Oh, this guy's misogynist. Oh, this guy's sexist. Oh, this guy doesn't know anything about girls. Like that's the greatest thing. It really does show you like who's on your side and who's not, which people to avoid, you know, which people to surround yourself with. And it's a really powerful and awesome thing, for sure.
Did you make any videos about you getting canceled?
I have a few podcasts. If I'll follow my
that would be an interesting video if you just sat down and you just did like 10 minutes, like here's how I got canceled, and then like had some footage or some articles or some like I don't know.
I'll make a legit video. I'll make a legit video, but I have a few like Instagram posts of when it was happening. If you follow the Alphas Only Club Instagram page, I'll accept you to it. It's like completely private. There's a bunch of low key underground stuff, but I'll put you in that, and you could see some of the videos stuff back in the day. I keep that one private purely for my private group of guys. So guys have to pay to get into that Instagram and as well as the Discord, because there's a bunch of information on there that is definitely not gonna be okay for Instagram, you know. And that's why I have multiple pages that are public to promote, like for marketing and stuff. But that page is just more for private because I've had it for like the longest time. I don't want it to get banned. So, yeah.
Damn, dude. So you legitimately grew up on the internet.
Yeah, like even like before this, I was always doing stuff online. I was always doing Photoshop, video editing, and things like that. Yeah. So
When I was your age, I was just listening to economics lectures for hours on end.
Yeah, dude, I did not want to go to college, bro. I was like, yeah, fuck going to college for sure.
This
fuck
is even outside of college. I followed the Mises Institute, and I think it was before even podcasts were like a thing, or at least popularized. Mm-hmm. I would just go to their website and listen to like a long audio thing. But yeah.
How old are you right now?
I'm 10 years older than you.
No way. You look young as fuck. That's crazy.
Thanks, man. I eat all organic.
Good.
I eat a lot of collagen and ass.
Hell yeah. All right, so it's been an hour and a half. Do you wanna say anything to the boys before we end off this amazing podcast?
What did we cover? What ground did we cover here?
Riz. We covered Riz.
Yeah. Develop your Riz.
The end.
Yeah, I guess the main message of this was that you can get better at a game. You can meet girls that you're attracted to. And it's okay to go on tangents. And if you have ADHD like me, you can still succeed. There we go.
Deal. All right. See ya, boys.